GA Flashback Friday. I hope you guys are having a fantastic, magical, wonderful end of your week. Thank God it's Friday. I know I am beyond ready for the weekend. It has been a hell of a week at work and in life in general, and so I am just ready for the weekend. The weekend should be pretty chilled out. I have to work in the morning, but just for a few hours, and then I am off the rest of the weekend. Thank the Lord above. I am ready to sit at home on Sunday and watch my Seahawks kick some Panther butt. KK. Hence why I'm like a walking billboard for the Seattle Seahawks today. If you're a Seahawks fan, you know why I'm all decked out on Friday. If you're not, Google it and get back to me. It's called Blue Friday. All you have to do is Google it. I promise you it will come up. Like I said, if you're a Seahawks fan, you completely understand. If you're not, that's okay. Not all of us can be perfect. I understand. And if you're a Panthers fan, I'm really sorry that your season's about to end. Just saying. I'm really sorry for that. It's been a good run. I know you guys have had a really good season, but it's about to end. So just enjoy Sunday while it lasts, and then Sunday night you can go cry in your Kool-Aid or your vodka or your wine or whatever you choose to do. Okay? Because the Seahawks are going to kick your butt. Right? Right. But anyway, we're not here to talk about football, or we're not here to talk about crazy work weeks or the fact that I'm happy it's Friday. We are here for GA Flashback Friday, where I recap a past episode of Ghost Avengers, and today we are actually getting to talk about a location that we talked about in Monday's Aftershocks video. They had caught up with the Jerome Grand Hotel, and it's also our Flashback Friday video. But today we get to just talk about the episode and kind of relive the episode, some highlights and some low points and things like that, and just get to cover the evidence they collected and stuff like that. So we are going to go ahead and get started. Okay, thanks. Bye. Now, the Jerome Grand Hotel is located in Jerome, Arizona, and it's known as Ghost City because the spirits tend to outnumber the residents there. It was a mining town that produced over $1 billion in copper, gold, and silver, and with that came the good, the bad, and the ugly. When you get that kind of wealth in a town, especially in those days, $1 billion is a lot of money now. $1 billion then was unthinkable. Like, you couldn't have imagined having that kind of money. So it of course brought in the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So that built the need for a hospital. And in 1926, the United Verde Hospital was built, and it was in service for about 30 years and seen about 9,000 deaths. It averaged out about a death a day. In 1994, the Altier family bought the property and revamped it all and turned it into what is now known as the Jerome Grand Hotel. This place is cray. People will check out of the place in the middle of the night. The spirits there are not all friendly. Not necessarily evil or demonic, but not necessarily the best company to keep. There has been a couple of investigations done by the Arizona Paranormal Research Society. They have collected some EVPs. They were not pleasant to hear. One of them said go straight to hell. Well, thank you. And the other one said that bastard Frank is one of the paranormal researchers on the team. So apparently they're not friends. Just the thought. There was a lot of mysterious death at the hotel once it was converted. In 1935, Claude Harvey, and before it was converted, Claude Harvey was a maintenance guy at the hospital. And he was working with the elevator shaft, and somehow he got decapitated with the elevator shaft. His body was completely, the elevator was completely on his body. Now, him being a maintenance guy for a variety of things, they weren't allowed to do an autopsy on him, and that's what was really mysterious about it. They believe the mining company had something to do with it. They believe that they wanted to cover it up for whatever reason. So I don't know. I can't remember if he had specific ties to the mining company or not, but he was a maintenance guy there, and they were not allowed to do an autopsy on him for whatever reason. So they don't know if he was murdered, or if it was a hired murder, or if it was just something that they were trying to cover up. But it was really, really sad, and it's just a lot of random mysterious death. The last death in the hotel was in 1984, and that was when a night watchman or another maintenance guy, he actually hung himself, and it was following him hearing the spirits and having a lot of contact with them. Now, flash forward to after it's been renovated, they actually got access to the United Verde Clubhouse, which is a sub part of the hospital. And there was a man named Lonnie Anderson. He has a woodworking shop in the first floor of this place. He had a friend who was a maintenance guy in this place, and he ended up shooting himself after he had contact with spirits in that building. So we were just left wondering, is there a connection between the spirits communicating with people and then them committing suicide or being driven to their own death? It's like, what, it makes you think what is being said or thought, and why are they having this effect on people? It's just, to me, it's not a coincidence. They were both doing work on the building, a haunted location. They were both having contact with these spirits, and then they both committed suicide. It's just kind of a really weird thing, and I don't for one second believe it's a coincidence. This leads us into Lockdown. Lockdown was so different this time at the time that we had seen Ghost Adventures. It was different for the time. This was a few years ago, so this was different for us. They brought in Billy Tully, who is now a normal part of the show. However, then he was still kind of used here and there. He was used a lot back home in Vegas, but they had actually brought him with them to the location. He was in Nerve Center, which at the time was like it looks like a robbery van. Like, it's just like your old classic, like, white van, like the white van everybody steers clear from. But he had set up Nerve Center in the van, and they had set up cameras throughout the building because they were so big. There was no way that they could cover everything and investigate everywhere. So they just set up cameras to see if they could capture everything. They had some EVP recorders. They had some digital recorders set up. They also brought in Gary Golka. Now, Gary Golka is the man behind the Mel Meter. He's the man behind the RT, the real-time EVP. His daughter, Melissa, was killed in a car accident. I believe it was in 2005. And he created the Mel Meter, the Melissa Meter, Mel Meter, to be able to read temperature changes and measure EMF, to be able to communicate with Melissa. And he's created some amazing things. He's created the EMF bear. He's created the EMF jacket, which we got to see in this episode as well, along with some other really awesome detectors. And it's just amazing to see his work in action. So they had set up 8 RT, which is real-time EVP recorders. These, unlike digital recorders where you have to record and then play back, these are real-time EVPs. So you can catch something in real time with headphones and hear it instantly. You don't have to play it back. It does record it, but you also hear it instantly. So they go in. Billy is in the van at Nerve Center, which they weren't really calling it Nerve Center, I don't think, at the time, but they call it Nerve Center now. Gary went in with Zach, Aaron, and Nick, and they go into the hotel, and they go into where Claude Harvey was killed, and they start asking questions, and they actually get this female voice that delivers one of the saddest EVPs I've ever heard in my life. It's crystal clear. It's a Class A EVP. It's amazing, but it's one of the saddest ones in the entire world. And this is, I just want to listen and help. It's unbelievable. It gave me chills. Like, it's just, the spirit is trapped. I just want to listen. I want help. I need help. I want to help others. I want to help myself. And it was just an unbelievable piece of evidence, and it was bone chilling. To this day, it's one of my favorite pieces of evidence that they've ever captured. They then move over to the other hospital, and this is the place where they have the RT EVP set up, the real time. They have 8 of them. This was one of the most technological, lockdowns ever done at the time. Zach is also wearing this jacket. Now, there's this jacket. It's an EMF jacket that also gauges temperature. So anytime there's a temperature change of hot or cold, he lights up. And it detects EMF, it detects temperature changes, and his jacket pretty much lights up at the connection to that. When he went into this hospital, this jacket, like, comes alive. They hear a loud door bang on the 3rd floor of the hospital. And then that is when Zach's jacket just kind of comes to life. They are just flabbergasted. Like, they cannot figure out what's going on. They check the air outside. There's no wind. They use a paper, like a plastic bag, and they hang it outside. There's no wind. There's no way that this giant freaking door could have slammed shut. Like, they're even pushing on the door and it's actually coming back at them. So there's no way that it could have just shut and been, you know, done with like little force. I mean, whatever did this loud. They didn't get any EVPs there. They really didn't get anything like that. They did get a massive, sorry guys, my nose itches. They did get this massive ball on the thermal cam, which, it was completely unexplained. You can actually see it manifest out of the ground and then fly off, and then it's gone. Like, there's just nothing left. They split up. Aaron is downstairs on the 1st floor in the morgue. Zach and Lonnie joined them for lockdown, the guy who owns the woodworking shop. They were on the 2nd floor. Nick was on the 3rd floor. They were all standing perfectly still. And they weren't getting a lot of evidence that you could see other than the mask and the door bang, and Zach's jacket was like going nuts. But they could just feel the energy. So they said there was just a compressed energy in the environment. It was just absolutely insane. Like, you couldn't even put into words what you were feeling. And so Aaron, of course, starts freaking out. It's Aaron, and it's early in the Ghost Adventures career, so of course he starts freaking out. Zach and Lonnie, they all go back down to get him, and they're like, why don't you stay down here for a little bit longer? He's like, no, screw you, I'm leaving. So then they go upstairs, and they get Nick, and this is all toward the end of lockdown, and Nick is shaken at best. Like, he keeps seeing shadows in his vision. He keeps thinking that he's seeing things that aren't there, and it's freaking him out. Like, so Zach and Lonnie and Aaron all go back up to the 3rd floor to get Nick, and he's like, I think something keeps trying to lure me away into the attic space. So they kind of go up there, and they just feel the energy. This place was one of those places that was not something that you needed a lot of evidence for. They'd already gotten the evidence. They had already gathered all of that in previous investigations and in this one. And so the energy in the place was just too much, and so they actually ended lockdown. The Jerome Grand Hotel overall, it was a great episode. It was it got amazing evidence, one of the saddest EVPs with the I just want to help and listen, and it will forever be the episode that almost killed Zach Bagans. I kind of saved this for last because it was one of those like prevalent moments in the episode. Zach wanted to know what it was like for Claude Harvey under the elevator shaft as that elevator shaft was coming down. So he got the camera, he laid on his back, he stuck his head over, and the thing started coming down. The guy operating it kind of backed out of the way, and he's like, I don't know why I did that. You know, he was talking about that in Aftershocks. He's like, I don't know why I did that. He then realized that Zach wasn't going to move. Like, he couldn't judge from the viewfinder. And so everybody kind of froze and freaked out. And if it wasn't for Chris pulling Zach out of the way millimeters before that damn thing caught, like, the tip of the camera, Zach would be gone. Ghost Adventures would be over, and Zach Bagans would be dead. So Chris literally saved his life. It was millimeters from hitting that camera lens, and it would have just been catastrophic. So this episode is it's a historic episode. It's the episode that almost literally killed Zach. The guys have had a lot of close calls with different things and different experiences and different feelings and things falling on home, but this was literally the episode that almost killed Zach. And had that happened, we wouldn't have Ghost Adventures. I would be making this video. It would have ended everything, and it would have been heartbreakingly sad. I'm really glad it didn't happen. Let me just put it that way. But it's just what Zach will do. He wanted the evidence. He wanted the feeling. He wanted to connect with Claude, and so he was going to do whatever it took. And for that, he stuck his head in an elevator shaft. What the F, dude? What the F? Something I will never understand. But that is all I have for GA Flashback Friday. I will be back on Monday for GA Recap Monday, where I will be recapping the newest episode of Ghost Adventures Aftershocks. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, have an amazing, fantastic, wonderful weekend. Much love and happiness, guys. Bye.